episode 26. Here at the Telltale Fisherman podcast, we are looking to record the most epic fishing stories from around the planet. If you are listening to us from outside the U.S., we would love to have you share an epic fishing adventure from your country. Go to www.tell.fish/guest to sign up to be on the show today.
Welcome to the Telltale Fisherman podcast, where avid anglers share the story of their best fishing day ever to inspire yours. Now it's time for another epic adventure. So here's your host, John Woodson.
Okay, welcome to the show. Today's guest is Michel Cardoso, coming to us from Sweden. Michel, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's great to have you here. And I personally don't know a whole lot about your species that you have to fish over there in Sweden. I've seen a few pictures, but for our listeners, can you just kind of walk us through all of the types of fish that you get to fish for there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, mostly competition-wise, we have pike, we have perch. Those two fishes are it's a real big species over here.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we fish a lot for cod, salmon. We have a lot of trout, sea trout, like you guys have back in the States.
Okay.
And we have like smaller fish like Eid. I don't know if you know what kind of fish that is, but normally you catch them just by putting like a piece of bread on the hook.
Okay.
And you just throw it right in front of them and you catch them. But I mean, mostly I'd say pike, perch, salmon, trout. We have a lot of those four fishes back here in Sweden.
And you sent me a picture that looked like perhaps a sturgeon. Do you have those over there as well?
Yeah, that's actually. I mean, we have. I live in the south of Sweden, so we live very close to Denmark.
Okay.
So I mean, if you drive over, it takes like 25 minutes. They have a lot of places where you can fish for sturgeon.
Oh wow.
That's actually it's a great fish to catch because I mean they give an amazing fight. Amazing.
Yeah. No, that's definitely one that's on my bucket list that I would love to catch someday.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's a deep water fish, right? I mean, you generally catch those in
back here. You find them in ponds back in
really?
Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, normally we can only fish for the males. You can never fish for the females.
Meaning you can't. Can you actually keep any of them?
No. You have to release everything.
Release everything.
Okay. Only catch and release.
Okay. But is there a way you can target the males versus the females when you're fishing?
I mean, normally in the places in Denmark, they almost only have. One thing I forgot to tell you. I mean, these places are almost always private places that people.
Oh, okay. I got you. Right.
So that's why they almost only have males. But I mean, it's big places, like huge places.
Right. Oh, that's pretty neat. So they have stocked. I guess you would say that's a stocked area for sturgeon.
Sure.
Wow.
And I mean, one of the places have sturgeons up to like 90 kilos.
Wow.
So they have huge fish over there.
That sounds pretty interesting. Yeah. That if I get over to Europe here sometime, that might be on my.
Hey, you'll hook me up and I'll take you there. No problem at all.
Heck yeah! No, that'd be neat.
The biggest one we caught was actually my friend Christopher from our team. He caught one. I thought it was 36 kilos. So that's a big sturgeon.
Yeah, that's a fish of a lifetime there.
Yeah, that was it. I think it took a little bit more than an hour to reel it in.
I bet.
So I mean, his arms were just destroyed after that.
That's when you know you've had a good day of fishing, when you can't even lift your arms, right?
That's the best. You shouldn't even be able to move after a day of fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Well, let's just talk about you for a little bit, and how you got into fishing and got the fishing bug. Did you grow up that way fishing, or did you get into it later on?
To be honest, both my parents they don't even like to fish. So how I got into it, it's more like more like a miracle. Because nobody in my family were actually into fishing.
Really?
But I remember when I was really small, we had really good friends that took us out, and after a couple of times, you just get hooked. I mean, it's like I always say to people that don't fish. I mean, you only understand how fun it is until you get something hooked.
Right.
Because until then, you don't even know what fishing is. So I mean, friends took us out, and right now we fish more professionally than we do like. I will always love it, and it's the best thing in the world. But professionally in our team, we've been fishing for around 4 years.
Okay.
But now we fish 3-4 times a week always.
Oh wow! So how did you make that transition from, amateur angler just doing it for fun occasionally to, changing over to a team and fishing professionally?
First, it was actually my twin brother and my other friend. They had a team, and they went on competitions all the times, and they just told me like, oh, you have to come sometime, just experience, like when you come to a city and there's like 400 boats and everybody's out catching, for the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I never went. So eventually I went, and it was just, that feeling, it was just crazy. I mean, the whole feeling in the boat when somebody catches a good fish and everybody gets happy, and you just have to catch more to get to the top. It's, it's indescribable. Indescribable.
Yeah, so it kind of changes your mentality when you're fishing in a tournament. It's more intense, but the rush, I guess, is a lot bigger too, isn't it?
To these competitions, you have to plan a lot, and you see where the winds have been the couple days before, so we know where to fish normally here in Sweden we have archipelagos, a lot of them, and that's normally where we fish for the pikes.
Okay.
They're so big. So if the winds are from the north or south or wherever, you have to fish where. So the winds are. How do I explain this in English? So the winds are like into the country, not out from the country.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what I mean.
Right.
So
right.
That's normally where you want to fish, because that's normally where the fish is going to be. What I mean is, like, for these competitions, there's always a lot of preparation, and what are we going to fish with, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's so much fun, so much fun.
Oh yeah, no, it just sounds like it. Just listening to you there, I've had a chance in Canada to do a little bit of pike fishing years ago, and I loved it. I was just so impressed with how vicious of a predator they are, the way they strike the baits, and man, what a fun fish to catch.
Normally you can just put anything on the hook and they'll just bite it. That's why it's so fun to catch them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now we're talking about open water fishing here too, but you also do ice fishing as well, right?
We do. We have a lot of ice fishing here in Sweden, and then it's mostly in lakes.
Okay. Now, is that also for pike and perch, same species? We
also do that for trouts.
Okay.
In the winter, but normally, I'd say 80% that goes ice fishing, it's either perch or pike back here in Sweden. At least down in the south where we live, it's mostly pike and perch.
And do you do much differently? I know the lures are a little different, but do you fish live bait or anything when you ice fish?
We do. This is people. Some people do it in one way, and some people do it another way. We always do it with live fish. Okay. So we have to go either we catch them first, or we buy the small fish from people that grow them up. Mm-hmm. And then you have like a tank that provides air for the fish in the water, and you fish with live bait. And it's amazing. You go out on the ice and you drill you have to drill at least 7 to 10 holes, and then you put out rods in all of them with the bait fish, and then sometimes 3-4 hooks at the same time, and you just run all over the place. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of fun, and to be honest, you always hurt yourself while you're running on the ice, and and you're just trying to just jump to get the rod so the fish doesn't take it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Oh man, yeah, that does sound like a blast. Well, when we get back, Michel is going to share an epic freshwater tournament story with us. Stay tuned. If I could use only one bait for inshore saltwater fishing, it would have to be the flats jig. It is extremely versatile, and different weights of jig heads can be used to fish from depths of just a few inches all the way down to several feet, and it catches all the target species. Just attach a swim bait, get that tail thumping, and the fish are sure to follow. Go to tell.fish/gear to check out the flats jigs that we like the best. All right, we are back with Michel Cardoso from Sweden, and I believe the story we're going to talk about today is an epic tournament story, correct?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so tell us what happened.
Okay, so I mean, we have this. We have like a big competition. It's called Sportsmasters, and it's a competition. Any team can go in, and then in the end of the competition, 10 teams will go head to head live on TV.
Oh wow!
So it's a really big deal, and the prizes are amazing, and we had. Every team has to fight to get a spot in the semifinals.
Okay.
So we put our team up for 2 days to be able to come into the semifinals, and the first day was slow. I mean, we saw a lot of fish, but I mean nothing wanted to get hooked.
We're talking about pike here, right?
Talking about pike, yeah,
pike,
definitely.
Okay.
And I mean, we caught the fishes we wanted, but it was very, very slow, and we were actually really disappointed the first day because it was a place called Blekinge where we normally fish, and we know those waters by heart. So we knew that we could do better. So when the first day was down, we went home and we just talked about what we did wrong, what we're going to do the next day, and the next day starts, and just the first cast, amazing. I mean, just hooked up on a 101 centimeter pike, and I mean, to start the day like that, everything just turned to a whole different level.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole spirit in the boat just turned up, and we just got fish after fish after fish. And we have this huge team in Sweden called CVC. And normally when they are competing, everybody else knows that they will probably win. I mean, it's a really, I mean, they've won the biggest competitions, and they're always on the top.
Yeah.
They were on our heels the whole day. I mean, and normally in these competitions, it's like a live report. So you have to text a measurement of the fish and the picture, and they will put it on their homepage so everybody can follow who's on the lead.
Oh, so you know what other people are doing while you're out on the water. Oh, yeah.
But the funny part is that the last 2 hours they closed that down. Oh. So the last 2 hours, you just knew where you were before everything closed down, and when it closed down, we were on the second place of the whole competition.
Wow!
And but we're talking about centimeters. I mean, we knew that the team ahead of us, they were like 2 centimeters ahead, and then the team under us was like 1 centimeter behind.
Wow!
So we knew it was really, really close, and we were just fishing, But the crazy thing was, we must have gotten like, I don't know, 100 fish at least, but none of them were big. It was like 69, 68 centimeters. It was small fish, and we did everything we could, and it was just small fish. And in our minds, we thought, there's no way that these other teams has gotten these small fish as well. There's no way in the world. But we continued to fish, and normally this was in June, and normally in June the fishes back here in Sweden they go out, so they go to deeper water.
Right.
So in our heads they should be in deeper water, but we didn't find them in the deeper water. So we went in and we went to depths of like 20-30 centimeters of water.
Okay, so real shallow.
It's really, really shallow, and I mean the fish shouldn't be there, and especially not the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
So our friend Christopher, he makes a cast to it was 20-25 centimeters maximum, and then from nowhere, I mean the rod just it was crazy. I mean it was such a big bend, so we actually thought the whole thing was going to break. And
Wow.
so I mean everybody starts to shout, the whole spirit just went up, and we were just, I mean, I know me and my brother, we just left our rods and just one of us held the, how I said it in English, the thing where you take up the fish, the net.
The net,
Yeah,
right.
and I mean it took some time, but when that fish came up, it was a pike, 109 centimeters, almost 10 kilos.
Wow.
Almost there we knew that this time this competition is ours. It was almost a sure thing. We were screaming. I remember this part of the archipelago. It was very close to a house, and a couple. They were they were tanning,
Mm-hmm.
and they were looking at us because we were screaming so much, and they said, what's happening? What's happening? And we showed them the fish, and the first thing they say was like, please take that fish out and just throw it away. We don't want it here close to our house. So I mean, that was an amazing moment.
Oh man! So and is this in the last 2 hours of the competition?
This was in the last 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh man! So you don't know exactly what everybody else is doing, but you now you've got a really good chance of winning this thing.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that competition, we actually lost the first place with 1 centimeter.
Oh no!
I know it was. The sad thing is that we had the 2 longest fishes in the whole competition. So the guy that holds the competition, he removed a centimeter from us because he thought that the picture wasn't well taken. But afterwards, when we looked at the picture, we had that centimeter, and even though we would have been in the same length of the other team, we would have won because we had the longest fish.
Right.
But
man.
Sometimes it just is what it is. But it was still an amazing day, and we have nothing to complain. In these competitions, they are like hard as a backbone. They never let anything go. And I think that's good. It should be fair to everybody. So I think it's a good thing, but it was just sad that we didn't get that centimeter.
Right. Oh man. Well, that's a tough break, but what an incredible day of fishing to catch 2 fish like that in the tournament. So tell me a little bit about the change you made from day 1 to day 2. You said you guys sat down and you discussed, what went wrong, what wasn't going your way, and what you needed to change. What were your adjustments that you made?
Like I said before, we knew that the fish should be on deep water. So the first day we actually went out and we searched for them in deep water. And even though we caught some, we didn't caught as many as we should. So
Right.
In the end of the day, we said, maybe we should try shallow water. Even though it's not right for this season, who knows? The weather back here in Sweden this year has been probably the strangest summer ever. We've had in 3 months, I think we've had 10 days of sun.
Wow.
It's been really, really bad. So maybe it's because of the change of weather that they still are in shallow water.
Wow, that just goes to show the importance of paying attention to your water and your surroundings and be willing to make a change.
It does a lot. So normally before I fished a lot, sometimes I said to people, fishing is a lot of luck, etc., etc. But in the end of the day, it's actually a lot of knowledge to know the waters, to know what to fish for, etc. It's a lot of knowledge.
But a little luck doesn't hurt either.
Definitely. If we were lucky, we would have won that competition. But
There you go.
I guess we're unlucky.
Just a little more luck would have been even perfect.
Definitely.
All right. Well, Michel, that's a crazy good story, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share it with us today. Thanks so much.
I appreciate it.
Please be sure to follow the Telltale Fisherman on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You'll get sneak peeks of upcoming episodes, notices of new episodes as they go live, and pictures from some of the most epic fishing adventures ever. Check the show notes for details. Thanks!
This has been the Telltale Fisherman podcast. Thanks for sharing another great tale with us. Be sure to check out the show notes page for more info on today's show and the gear we talked about. Keep those lines tight, and we'll catch you next time right here on the Telltale Fisherman podcast.